everybody. Thank you so much for requesting this exclusive tapping round that Naketa and I are going to do right now. These are fun. They're never scripted, and it's all about what's coming up in the moment and how we can work on it. So I know that we didn't talk a lot in the podcast about what EFT is. So if people want to learn about that, definitely request that ebook that I talked about, the theresasfreegift.com, and make sure you get your hands on that so that you can kind of understand a little bit more about what it is and why it works, because that is important as you become empowered with this tool and give it a try. But for the intents and purposes of this free gift, then all you just need to do is tap along with us. And we were discussing how, big changes are obviously a common thing that happens with us female entrepreneurs and those few brave men that are listening. And so I figured we might tap a little bit about resistance to change and see how that pans out. So I'm just going to have Naketa kind of mirror what I do. It's going to be kind of like follow the leader here. And you guys at home can do the same thing. And the first thing that we always want to do with EFT is to rate how we're feeling before we start so that we know what might shift or change. Now, tapping on fears and feelings about big change is not the most tangible thing. It's not like we're tapping on a backache or a headache or something like that, where when we're done, we're going to know that everything's better or changed or what have you. But you can kind of lean into your intuition and see what feels different to you when you're done something like this. So the first thing we're going to do is just rate that. So a 0 to 10, kind of like the scale you use at a doctor's office when you're rating pain. Rate how resistant or how much pain you're feeling around any big changes that are coming up in your business right now. Or it might be feelings of being an imposter even that are coming up for you as you go to make these changes. And write that number down. You have any big changes coming up, Naketa?
I do. I have multiple. Should I just focus on one?
That's probably better. EFT does like it when you're specific. There's no reason why you couldn't go back and do this again for the other issues and make it more focused in on those. So where do you put yourself on that scale?
Repeat with 0 is versus 10.
0 is like you don't have any issues with any challenges. You're good.
Oh.
10's like you're feeling pretty fearful or resistant, or you've got a lot of stress or, feelings of unwarranted self-doubt around what's going on.
I'm going to say for the one change that I'm focusing in on, I'm a 7.5.
Okay. Is there anything vague or specific you want to share about that?
Yeah. So the specificity is I'm taking a flagship program and I'm breaking it down into 2 layers, which will make it more potent for what I give to people, but can also, there's a little FOMO that I'm having as the giver of it. Like, am I going to have them miss out on something by breaking it into multiple components versus it being all encompassing and full? So I think I'm on the reverse end of FOMO, whatever that is called, where I'm just not sure. I'm excited about it, but I'm also not sure that it will be received the way I am so excited about it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. So I'll try to hit on that aspect and also other things that people might be feeling with their challenges that they're having, because there's a wide range of people, a wide range of things that people could be feeling when they're thinking about big changes and things in their business. So we're just going to start by tapping on the side of your hand. This is called the karate chop point, and you're just going to repeat after me. Even though I have a lot of big changes coming up in my business.
Even though I have a lot of big changes coming up in my business.
And I don't feel comfortable with all of them. I love, accept, and forgive myself. Even though I don't know how all of this is going to turn out. And sometimes even wonder if I'm doing the right thing. I honor these feelings. And accept myself anyway. Even though it feels really unfamiliar to make this change. And I know it's natural for me to try to keep myself with the familiar. Oh, goodness, sorry. I love, accept, and forgive myself. Now we're going to start going through the tapping points. There's like 8 main tapping points that we're going to use. All of this change. This change in my business. I just don't know how it's going to go. or if it's the right thing.
or if it's the right thing.
I may even be worried that I'm going to piss some people off.
I may even be worried that I'm going to piss some people off,
or that they're not going to get the best of me.
or that they're not going to get the best of me.
As I try to level up in my business.
As I try to level up in my business.
I really want to make sure that these changes are going to be for the highest good of everyone.
I want to make sure these changes are going to be for the highest good of everyone.
And I'm worried that maybe they won't be.
And I'm worried that maybe they won't be.
Or that maybe I'll hurt someone's feelings.
Or that maybe I'll hurt someone's feelings.
Or maybe I just won't like the change.
Or maybe I just won't like the change.
Then what will I do?
Then what will I do?
Actually, that's a really good question.
Actually, that's a really good question.
Because I'll bet there's ways that I could change again.
Because I bet there's ways that I could change again.
Or adjust things so that they feel better aligned.
Or adjust things so they feel better aligned.
And maybe this doesn't have to be so big or so scary.
And maybe this doesn't have to be so big or so scary.
But I appreciate that there's part of me that's trying to protect myself.
That there's part of me that's trying to protect myself.
And that knows that this is really new territory.
And that knows that this is really new territory.
But I'm ready to tell my inner saboteur.
I'm ready to tell my inner saboteur
that I've got this.
That I've got this.
And that everything's going to be okay.
And that everything's going to be okay.
And that all is well.
And that all is well.
And that while I appreciate the protection.
And that while I appreciate the protection.
I don't need it right now.
I don't need it right now.
I'm open to the possibility that this change can be amazing and good.
I'm open to the possibility that this change can be amazing and good.
And that if for some reason it's not.
And if that for some reason it's not.
I'll be better prepared to make the change that is.
I'll be better prepared to make the change that is.
I'm going to tap on the side of the fingers. With love and tolerance.
With love and tolerance.
Compassion and understanding.
Compassion and understanding.
I now forgive.
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 And I call my power back into my body.
And I call my power back into my body.
I can handle this change.
I can handle this change.
And I am whole, complete, and powerful.
And I am whole, complete, and powerful.
All right, Naketa, take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. If you guys feel compelled to yawn or exhale slowly or stretch or move in any way, do that. This is all about your energy moving. And then just kind of come back to yourself here, not that you ever really left, and think about that scale again. Think about, how you're feeling about the change, how you're feeling about your ability to handle it, and any of those negative feelings that we might have assessed at the beginning. And where do you feel like you are on the scale now?
This is going to sound so bizarre, but I feel like you literally corrected the change, and I would have to give it a 0. I have no negative energy around it at all.
That's quite a shift.
I felt it while we were doing it.
I love that you're willing to give yourself the 0, because so often people won't give themselves that even when they feel it. And that's a testament to the work that you've done too. Yeah. But a lot of times people feel the need to hold on to some part of their pain or resistance, even if it's actually not there. And so that's awesome. I'm so glad that helped. For those of you who, haven't shifted that much, it's not necessarily common to make that big of a shift in just one round. So don't feel bad. Whatever your shift is, it's your shift. It's relevant. It's meaningful. And the thing to ask yourself next is what's left?
Yeah.
What's still coming up for you, if anything? And that would be the next thing to address in a round of tapping, and the next way to get to the real root of what's going on. But thank you so much for tapping with me and for, being open and vulnerable about what's going on in your life and your business right now. And I hope this lands well with anybody who's requested it and, tried it out. So thank you for trying it out. And I know I love to hear from people and ask and hear like what your before and after was, what you experienced, that kind of thing. So if you're willing, shoot me a quick email. I'm sure Naketa would love to hear from you too. And just let me know how it went or, what came up for you. And I just know that I will personally read that and receive that gratefully.
This was such an honor. Everyone. Thank you.